So, hope you're well. Today will be my really the first episode, um, the Q&A, question and answer that you guys have in your mind and that you want to ask. So, I have a few already. Some private messages me. Some people already, always ask the same question so many times. So I thought it's time for me to open up and tell you and maybe share some wisdom with you whatever can help you along the way. All right. So let's first go to the first question. What was your motivation for moving to Hong Kong? Okay. My motivation to move to Hong Kong is basically to marry my wife. Long story short, is I have a job in the Netherlands, in Holland, and I was working for a few years. And in the end of the day, my wife, which back then was my girlfriend, found a job in Hong Kong, and she settled down for a year, two, I forgot. And she asked me, "Do I want to come over?" So I quit my job, and then come to Hong Kong, marry, and then eventually found a job again. So that's the reason. If I, it's very short, and I hope I answered your question. So compared to the Netherlands, how did your staff management have to adapt in Hong Kong? Yeah, so it's different, of course, because cultural differences. That's number one. So whatever you do in life is, if you switch to a different country or different city, then a different world open up to you. So cultural differences, by the end of the day, I was working in an international financial institution. So that's the reason why it's also amazing because when you have a part of the team that speaks English, a part of them speaks Hindi, a part of them speaks Punjabi or something like that. So many different kind of language, and I found it very interesting. And also a part of them speak Chinese, Mandarin, or Cantonese. All right. So that was another one that I have. Let me another question that I have here. What do you think about the situation now in the world, all this geopolitics, and now another war in the East? Okay, there is a lot of things happens, of course, as you can follow the news, the same thing. But I want to say is that, yeah, when there's war, that is not good. Whatever the war is happening, and the war should stop everywhere. We should use diplomacy because war is not good, regardless which country, but whatever the background behind the war, we have to settle down with the diplomacy. Why is that? Let me explain. So it's like also a ship with different cabinets. Let's say the different cabinets are the countries in the world. If the countries in the world are arguing or fighting with each other, then there is fire in the cabinet. Other cabinets or other countries need to intervene, like the United Nations, and help out the situation, because otherwise we all will suffer one way or one way or another. Because if it's directly affected, of course, you will directly suffer. If it is your country or your city, but indirectly as well, because then you see it's all suffering. It's not only economic suffering about what people talk about oil and something, but also spiritual suffering. People died and people got hurt and all this kind of situation, and that's not good. So we are all in the same boat or the same ship, and that's why we're different cabinet, and we have to try and to have world peace. This is what we all need to work together for, one way or another, right? So that's my view. Another one is, for example, in a especially when you have this kind of a body as a human being, because when you just assume that this head is, you know, Asia, something happened to Asia, that means something happened to my head. My body will also be affected. All right. And the same thing with my heart. Let's say my heart is now in Europe, represent my heart. Something happens in Europe, like Ukraine, then it will affect the rest of the body in the future as well, in the near term. Because even though something, the heart is pumping blood to the head, or to the other parts of the body. So that's the reason why we also need to make sure that everywhere in this world um, doesn't have this kind of conflict or war. It has to be settled as soon as possible because otherwise the whole structure will fall down. We all need each other and we are all one. Unfortunately, we look different, maybe different background or religious culture, languages, whatever. But underneath, we are all human beings. Okay, we breathe the same air, we drink from the same water, etc. So we are all human beings. Just remember, if you close your eyes, if you don't look at the people's skin color, language, or anything else, we are all basically one human being. That we are all one and all connected, and we have to lift each other up. It is time to have world peace. All right, that's my question. That's my answer. Apology. All right, let's go to the next question. Yeah, what's this? Oh, okay. This is a more enlightened one about parenting because I'm a parent myself. So basically, is about holiday. What is the best way? For example, because nowadays, okay, okay, so correct. So basically, this subscriber is also trying to ask me a question about being a parent. Um, if there's any affordable way, because nowadays, as you can see, everything is expensive, rising costs, etc. Yes, there is. So instead of bringing if your kids to a resort or this kind of where you need to pay for, think about my ideas will be in the spring break or in the summer break, like camping trips. You can do like beach sometimes if you have a beach in the area, or maybe a forest, or even a farm. Okay, so that you can go out with the kids because as long as the kids can go out, do anything outdoor activity, that's very good. Even picking up fruits, sometimes I let my kids also pick up strawberries, and that will make them happy. And also some of the vegetables, that eventually they eat the vegetable because they pick it up themselves. And it helps them also feed animals, more compassion to animals. That's also good if you go to a farm. I would highly recommend. Some of them are free, some of them you have to still pay. But I will say also maybe just take a train, let them ride and then stop to a station that they never go before, do some window shopping. You don't need to go and pay for all those indoor playground or anything. Just go out of nature, I would say, will be an example. Another example that I will say about how you can do that. In kids' view, when you have kids, you can also do some home cooking or maybe go and visit your auntie or your grandma because your kids love to play with flowers, making cake or cookies, all this kind of stuff, and play in pot and pans. But in real life, of course, you have to be there and help out. If in case, for example, put it in the oven, the cake to bake it or the pizza, very important, very fun. So I will say that allow the children then to have some autonomy to make choices, right? And also let them understand that how the food are being made, etc. So that's another example that I think will help you. All right. Cool. All right. I hope it answered this question well. If I don't, please just let me know, and I'll try my best. Yeah, for the next time. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. Yeah, it's a very tough one, but I'll try to answer it. So basically, is how I can use AI to lighten the mental load without replacing my. Okay, cool. Okay, let me go. I'll put the AI questions. I have many AI questions because people like to know what, how do I implement this? Okay. How do I manage this tech to train? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. A lot of questions about AI. Okay, cool. Especially the AI literacy gap. I see that some companies are now investing in their employees, which is good, that they have to take up some of the AI courses to improve themselves, which is great. I totally support this management's decisions. Very good. Okay, so what is the best way? There is no rule of thumb, I have to say, because everyone is in the new phase about AI technology. No one has the golden rule, by the way. But there is some practice that you can do. So one of them is don't wait until there's a formal course because then it's too late. Because the AI technology is changing so quickly. I will say you integrate your AI into your day-to-day activity. Let's say if you draft an email, or for my case, if I have to draft some such description for a video or anything, I just use AI, meaning the ChatGPT, the DeepSeeks, etc. Even the Google AI is very good. And then also you try to focus on the transcript. You read it on. You try to find out what you can add it on. That's number one. Number two is, of course, whatever the company is giving you. And look also into some certification that is, for example, under your budget, like 1,000 US dollar, that signal enough AI proficiency to the employers that you're working with and that you're doing instead of doing a full degree because a full degree costs a lot of money. I would not recommend it. So maybe you can do some of those certification that allows you to show that you are capable with this AI change. Another one is look into like I would say human skills. All of us know that I will say focus on the EQ, not the IQ anymore. A long time ago, we always ask our kids to do their best at school, to improve their memory by memorizing and then do the exam, and then voila, that's the results. Focus on the EQ is very important, especially the emotional quotation. How to do that? So basically, as you all know, in AI can analyze data very well, because they filled with a lot of data that has been online or given to them for the past decades. But what AI doesn't have is heart. It's like the phenomenal Jack Ma says that AI has chips and human has heart. So if you focus on that, that is very good. So AI, it cannot build trust. Human beings can do that. So if you try to teach your kids how to be creative and how to let kids play with amongst other kids, not only within the family or friends, but other kids in the playground, that will be a golden rule because then they can control their emotion, and look into people's faces. Those kind of those kind of things cannot be taught by a robot. Okay, so that is more like emotional quotation. They navigate also through this life. For us as adults, I will say you genuinely have to care about your team, not just asking them to do something, but really helping them emotionally by asking them questions and let them lead the way. So you'll be a little bit more humble with your team mates and also your employees. So making the AI more human, meaning that you will focus on ethical rules, for example, because AI cannot do that. Ethical judgment. I will say AI takes more autonomy nowadays, right? The human capacity to evaluate about the ethical rules will be more desirable in the future, especially on the leadership skills. I would say also focus on systems level thinking. So basically deciding the problem and solve it more in a human way instead of letting AI decide which one is going to work. All right, when it comes to parenting, I already give you a little bit example about it. I will just put another point of the plane. So I just told you about how to maybe my examples. Let's go out for sunshine, and you don't need to pay a lot of money as well. You know those places that I just mentioned earlier. But also another thing that I will say is when you set up correctly, then the automatically as a parent you will find the way. There's no one way fits all, right? So another thing is practice delayed ownership. What I want to say about this is when you have, for example, smartphones for kids, you see a lot of countries now have or the law they put in that when kids can use the internet or certain kind of website, which is good because it helps them parenting from afar. In the sense of nowadays digital technology, they don't really care about they want enough people to watch their content and everything is free on the internet. But if you don't have this kind of restriction, then kids doesn't cannot tell the difference between what is legit or what is a fake. And we as parents need to help them guide the way. So delaying smartphones is very important, and also putting some age restrictions on it because then it will help protect your kids. Just think about when you were younger, even now, there is an age restriction about when to start driving. It's country by country different, but on average around 17 years old, 18 years old. The same thing also with consuming alcohol, those kind of stuff. But I highly recommend you not to do that because in another way, it's not good for your health. All right, let's go to another next question. Then we finish it off today a little bit earlier than expected because I'm tired as well. Unfortunately, I was waking up very early. Apology. So now it's very late here, almost mid. Okay. Yeah. What other questions are there? Oh, about the more professional questions. Um, There we go. Okay, it's more personal. Okay, let's see. Generalize it. All right. Sometimes people wants to get prepared. So basically, the question is about I'm now having this kind of degree. Is it enough for me to apply for a job in a different country? We have the same problem everywhere. It's not only about country to country. But the degree itself is okay. Okay, let's say you have a bachelor or master degree of a university, that's your basic. But the most important part of all, far more important, is your network. So that's why I like about LinkedIn is that you have to link into a lot of people so that you become more familiar with your network. And how to do that, you can do it strategically, but most importantly is your network is your net worth. So you need to find a way where the people are in your field that you want to achieve, and then you connect with them. Even in live events, sometimes there's a lot of school life events, etc. Even afterwards, I will highly recommend you to do that. Even though doing volunteer work, so a lot of people ask me, for example, I have no job, I still find a job. I understand it is situation. Apology. It's very difficult, not only in Europe but around the world. The reason is because technology is taking over a lot of jobs. That's for sure, and a lot of jobs are basically uh, gone. So what I would highly recommend is keep yourself busy. Let's say if you fulfill a whole day, a few hours you just go to the company, the website, and you apply for the job directly. But if you have spare time in the afternoon and the evening, try to use it very wisely. Of course, sports to look after your health, but also you can do some volunteer work, coaching or anything that doesn't get paid. Then you get to be into the circle of some of those parents or maybe some of those connections of your friends that can open up opportunities for you. So you cannot rely only on one source where you can find a job. on a particular website. No, you have to use your network as well. When you're young, of course, you don't have a lot of connections, which is normal. Like many people always say, when you're young, you student get a lot of time and little money. And when you get older, you have more money and less time, right? This is also a little bit difficult to explain. But it's up to you what you want to do with it. But before I'm going to close this session today, there was a beautiful question just pop up into my private message. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what I think about meditation, yeah, I absolutely highly recommend it for this first episode is also to think about meditation. You know, not that you have to sit in and fold your hands, fold your arms and your legs and do nothing and just close your eyes. That's part of it, but you can do meditation on a daily basis, even you're awakened. That is a little bit advanced. Sorry, excuse me. So the best start is when you go to sleep, especially a few minutes or let's say a half hour before you go to sleep. Depends on the age also. I always say from 5 year old times 1 minute. So if you're a 5 year old wants to do the meditation, times 1 minute is 5 minutes. I'm 40 plus, so let's say I'm 42 years old, then I do 42 minutes. So this is how the way you can juggle with your yeah, with your how long you have to do the meditation. Afterwards, if you wake up between 4 to 6 o'clock, is very good. Then you also do a very morning meditation, and everything is silent, and then you open up your third eye. Then look into something clear, some problem that's always bothering you will not be a big problem anymore because then you solve it in your mind first. Take control of your mind. Okay, that's a very important stuff I want to tell you for this whole episode. Because once you take over your mind, then your mind will be more disciplined instead of your mind taking over you. All right. So one the thing is how to open it. Some people say that it's very difficult. In the beginning, it is. It takes time. Some people can do it within 1 year, 2 years. Some people take longer time before this third eye open. But I will say the best thing is like what Charlie Munger says, the right man of Warren Buffett. Tell me where I will die and I will not go there. He's perfectly right about this one. So I'll try to explain it in my own way. He has a great explanation. You can look up into his videos. Unfortunately, he passed away already. But Mr. Charlie Munger says that tell me where I will die and I will not go there. So one of the things you have to ignore is or stop doing is drinking alcohol because it's killing your subconscious mind. The second one is smoking. If you can, reduce it or up to the time that you will totally stop with it, smoking. This is the second one. And the third one is basically, yeah, excessive worry, something that bothers you and then you always worry about what will happen, and it's not good. So too much negative thoughts. It's not only about taking positive thoughts, but that's the start already. Forget about what happened in the past, focus on the future. And then meditation will be the gateway because some of the problems can never be solved. It will take time to solve. And when you use the meditation on a consistent basis, any questions that you have that's bothering you that you cannot find answer even with the current technology or the friends or experts around you, but you have all the answers in the world. Okay, and that's the reason why I truly believe that we are all here together, and there's a purpose for all of us. It will change over time, and the most important part is you have to trust your nature, trust who you are, know thyself is one of the most important question that in the lifetime you have to answer. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? Focus on your strengths, manage your weakness. I'll repeat, focus on your strengths, manage your weakness. So find out what is what you're good at and do that more. And what you're not so good at, let other people do it, or you pay them to do it. All right. So that's very important that you focus on your strengths and manage your weakness. All right, all in all, thank you so much for your attention for this episode, guys, and we really appreciate it. Also, your time. So, if you have any other questions, just submit it to the email that I put it on my website, mrqqteam@gmail.com, or just put on one of your comments in one of those videos that you're watching now. And you have some questions still left. See you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.